Here we go, it begins. Having our very first look of the volume being the Ranger kids oohing and awing at literal concept art should have immediately set off a bunch of red flags in your head, especially later in the episode when they roll into the school and everything is eerily empty. There's a large vacancy with the volume, and this concept art scene should tell you loud and clear. They didn't care, or they couldn't afford to care about the smaller details of quality. I griped about Menagerie not looking as crowded as the characters insisted it was, but at least there are characters there. Lots of characters milling around in the background, just like you'd expect. But here, the school is suddenly a ghost town, and it's weird. Not like weird like how the character's trying to imply it is in the show. No, it's weird because there should be some characters, right? It should actually be super easy too. Just model the Haven Academy uniform, one of the simplest designed uniforms they had, and take any of these already existing background characters and slap their heads and hands onto the model. By all means, that should have been very easy and the bare minimum. But even then, that was too much for them to handle here, apparently. Volume 5 also starts this trend for the show where buildings and locations are suddenly gigantic for some reason. Every room is a huge mausoleum, and it just further highlights how empty this world feels. The Ranger kids meet with Lionheart, and then they do that same thing as last time, talking a lot without actually saying anything of worth. What's worse is it's actually more specifically like the dialogue Crow and Raven had in Higanbana, where even in hindsight, there's not really anything of value with this conversation. They're dancing around topics so much that nothing of any worth is actually being said or alluded to. At most, we learn some specifics about the maidens, but nothing the characters do or say in relation to this information, or any of the other words in this scene is interesting or entertaining. The characters just stand still and vomit very bland exposition and empty fluff at each other. Weiss's scene is the same, but at least it's mercifully short. Blake's scene is confusing. We jump into Blake's story after apparently there's been some big conflict about getting the information to the public. It feels like we missed an important step here. Also, the pacing in general is terrible. Everything slows down exponentially, but it's really noticeable with Blake's scene. I theorize it was a pathetic attempt to stretch out the runtime further. Golly gee, last time we saw Ilya, she meant business. We better be careful about Ilya. Oh golly, hi Ilya, wanna have a nice little chat? Blake's story will not progress to be more than what this scene offers until episode 8. Cool. Then there's Yang. Suddenly her hands are shaking. Apparently she's adopted this out-of-nowhere side effect for her PTSD between volumes. Sure, why not? Don't freaking put up your finger to him. He just gave you free water. Stop guzzling your drink like a barbarian for 2 freaking seconds and answer him. You're so rude. I hate you so much. I hate Yang so freaking much. Best part of the episode, Weiss's scene. The lighting is nice, the setup for her conflict for the next episode is really well done, Pilot Boy is a fun extra for Weiss to engage with here, but I tell you what, deciding on the best parts for Volume 5 episodes is going to be tough, so bear with me. The worst part of the episode, just the obvious laziness of the whole thing. For Volume 4, I mentioned that they start the volume on a high note, really impressive animation quality especially, so it's massively disappointing seeing this bland, half-hearted animation quality here. A huge downgrade in quality from last time, and this is only the first episode. The episode that's meant to hook the audience into watching the rest of the volume. If they're willing to make this episode look so lazy, slow, empty, heartless, what does that say about how they've approached the rest of the volume? This episode is 4th best of the volume, but don't let that seemingly high number fool you. Even the best of episodes in Volume 5 is still hot garbage compared to the rest of the show. This one, despite it all, mostly is just bland and boring. Clearly they can find much more disappointing ways to ruin these episodes. What am I even looking at? So, what I'm doing is I'm going to be reviewing a new episode of RWBY every day for the month of October. There's a handy-dandy playlist of all the episodes in order, and a playlist from last year where I covered volumes 1 through 3. I hope you all have fun with the series. If you want to see the next episode a day early, consider becoming a patron. On that note, shout out to my $10 patrons. You're all amazing. Andrew, Valhalla Knight, Chamomile, Classy Critic, Noah Perkins, Sunny Shy, Jake, Amber, Hype Man, Isaiah, Scaring Crows, Not All That Evil, Holly, Boy Howdy Boy, Jacob, Ben's Sketchbook, Rain, Omega Fighter, Trash, Wild Pilot, Josh, Twisty, Juan, Bunkin Duncan, Lycan99, Hoodie Angel, Ranger, Hut Mutt Butt, Cloudy Days, The Enigma, C1 Trooper, Sean, Primo Rune, Steve, and Overhypin'.